Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Daily challenges, blue baby. Yesterday's daily, it was a fine daily. Oh my god, this one goes all the way too. We've had a lot of all the way dailies lately, which is great news. I'll take it. I am unafraid. It's great news, and it's also, well, it's not bad news, but it does mean that, I mean, it's a purer test of skill than your average daily, which can work for us or against us. But I've reached that nihilistic point with the daily where I don't really care as much about ranking. Unless, you know, I'll feel differently if we make like the Womb 1 and we have an incredible score. But I'm mostly just worried about having fun on the dailies at this point. We know if we play well, we're going to rank top 500 or so. If we play insanely well or manage to find some kind of seam, could easily find ourselves in even the low double digits, which is amazing. But, you know, I'm not going to try to force it too much. We have Book of Revelations, believe it or not. I know it might seem like a bit of a galaxy brain take, but that's basically what prayer card... I thought maybe we could push that into second secret room potential. We basically have Book of Revelations right now. The only thing is, it's kind of like a halved Book of Revelations in the form of prayer card. If we have an eternal heart, like a hanging eternal heart, then that's one spirit heart. If we have two eternal hearts, then that's one spirit heart. So it's really, I mean, I guess it's like 2/3 as good as Book of Revelations, plus let's ignore the orbital part of it, but simultaneously, it's HP, okay? I don't know why I'm getting so anal about being so specific. It's just something to do with the way my brain is wired for whatever reason. Marbles has been showing up all the time. Probably Demon Tail. But I will say, you know, maybe you look at Pinky Eye and you think that that's half decent. Depends on your preferences. Today is Sunday. It's the last day of the new... it's the last day of the old year before New Year's Eve. I don't really count New Year's Eve. I mean, it is obviously on the calendar. It's... I can't believe I haven't been hit by either of those. On the calendar, it's a day of the year. But New Year's Eve is kind of like... It's not a normal day, you know? New Year's is very strange for me, because New Year's Day is a day of reckoning with the decisions you've made over the past year and starting to, you know, improve upon the things. Hey, I mean, it's your employee evaluation for 2018, you know? You go, okay, here's what happened. You know, I came into the year and I said, I'm going to meditate. I didn't meditate, but on the other hand, instead of meditating, I don't know, started to swim, and swimming's become a good passion for me, so I got the exercise thing under control, but I can still do with more mindfulness or work on my career, you know, eat better, drink less, you get the idea. A lot of these are the most common resolutions, probably. And the way that we prepare for that on December 31st, for most people, or at least most people in my age group, is getting blackout drunk and watching explosions in the sky. And I'm not talking about the post-rock band of the same name. I'm talking about fireworks, which are, don't get me wrong, who doesn't like fireworks? I think threes will be a 1.5. I'm willing to do it. Obviously a little frightening, but this is definitely the deal we want. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying it's an ironic contrast. So that's why I don't count December 31st as a real day. Not too many people are working on December 31st unless you're like a bartender, in which case, good luck tomorrow. Sincerely, got your work cut out for you. I'm not a big New Year's guy, as you might have expected from the derisive and cynical way that I approached the conversation to begin with. But it's going to be cool for us tomorrow. You know, it's a big, the World Juniors is still going on. There's a big World Juniors game, Canada versus Russia, a classic matchup. I have to point out as well, you know, last night, My parents and I split the World Juniors tickets. So they're going to half the games. Kate and I are going to half the games. And the games that nobody really wants to go to, no offense, Switzerland versus Denmark. No second secret room? Me and my dad are usually going to because we're the two bigger hockey fans out of us. So my parents went to the game last night. It was a 5-1 victory over the Czech Republic. And then after the game, I gotta say, the tournament... Let's just take this. The tournament has brought a very interesting element to Vancouver. It's an element that I have to admit, in Vancouver, we live in a bit of a West Coast bubble. People are snobbier, for sure. I mean, if you want to... I can talk about all the negatives of Vancouver. People are snobbier, they're colder to strangers. Everything's more expensive. Much less of a sense of community. What's better about it? Let me hit you with some that I think are better about here, and why I think that culturally this is where I belong. People are substantially more easier going, and I've learned that because last night leaving the hockey game, it was like a scene. You're not gonna believe that all of this happened because it's so like cinematic that it's gonna sound fictional. I picked my parents up at the arena, and when we were walking around the neighborhood that the game was at, again, it was, I want to point out, it's a 5-1 victory. I felt like a tug on my sleeve, and a couple of dudes, like, I wouldn't say they pushed me out of the way, like, they weren't being violent about it, but they kind of, like, nudged me and sprinted by, and we were like, oh, that's weird, what's going on with that? They were running to participate in a fight that had broken out outside of, you know, one of the more upscale restaurants in the neighborhood. And one of the dudes, like, ripped off his jersey. They were both Canadian fans, which means they were probably both Canadians. And they were just throwing haymakers at each other. And then the posse that was around them was just alternating, saying the two phrases you say in a fight, which is, oh! And then alternatively, dude, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Which, like, simultaneously, you know, you cool head, yes. Obviously, it's not worth... I mean, why are you fighting? You won. And this is the kind of stuff that scares me, and I've been half joking about it, but I'm like, dude, if Canada makes the gold medal match and then gets blown out, that's riot juice, man. People have been... Like, I live in the city... I'll be disappointed, but I'm like, I'll just go home and, you know, have some tea and I'll get over it. But if you, like, came here, and I think we do want this instead of Demon Tail, but it is close. I want the keys for consumable bonus, pretty much. Plus, Demon Tail, like, you can barely see it there, so let's just pretend it doesn't even exist. For people, you know, some people drove to this tournament for, like, 4 days. And then they're gonna get liquored up at the game. And if Canada's down 5-0 heading into the third period, I'm gonna get the... I don't care if I paid for this seat, okay? I'm getting the heck out of the arena. I'll watch the rest on my phone from a safe distance. I'm a little worried about the riot juice. And it's not without, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Precedent. It's not without precedent in Vancouver. Anyway, where am I going with this? We don't want that. So these two dudes were fighting, and me and my parents were walking by, and of course the whole time I'm apologizing, because A, I'm Canadian, and B, you know, my parents came to this city, and now they have to watch these two people fight, and I'm like, it's not like this normally. And it isn't! You know, it's, you know, there's a certain towny element. It's a very Canadian kind of good old boy thing to do. Go see the hockey game, Canada won, congrats, now get into a fight with your seatmate. And then later be like, that was awesome. I swear to you, we walked past an individual of the homeless persuasion who was talking to nobody, and simultaneously everybody, and he said, man, alcohol turns some people into a-holes. And I was like, this is the smartest dude on the whole freaking street. It really puts it into perspective, I think, that, you know, he's watching these two guys fight, and he's going, what an idiot, and everybody is going, yeah, you got it under control, my man. Anyway, that's the part that I don't think people will be as likely to believe because it's cinematic, but I promise you it did indeed happen. And then we said, well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. And then he winked at us, and later, at the end of the movie, we saw that he was Santa Claus. I don't know why that's part of, like, every Christmas movie ever. There's always, like, a homeless guy with a beard, and everyone, like, nobody shows him compassion, and then one child shows him compassion, and you realize, wait a minute, that's friggin' Santa. Anyway. It's a different element, you know. I've been to many Vancouver Canucks games. I've watched them win. I've watched them get blown out. I watched the Canucks lose in the playoffs to our most hated rival, the Calgary Flames, at least until Seattle's in the league. With a goal scored in like the final 45 seconds to break the tie that the game had been in for almost the entire extent of it so far. And there were people that were jawing at each other. No one was fighting. You know, it's just in the West Coast. You know, you kind of take things as they come predominantly. I mean, everybody's different. A lot of people here, myself included, are transplanted to begin with. But there's an interesting cultural mix, you know? I have this, you know, I live in the West Coast bubble, and all of a sudden the bubble has been opened up to the rest of my country for an event like this, and I'm like, oh, I remember now. Yeah. I remember the Ontarian part of this country. I remember the, you know, Manitoban part of this country. And I mean no disrespect, it's just, you know, the whole tournament is a melting pot of people who love to watch people with a leaf on their sweater score many, many goals against other countries. I do wish that my seatmates would stop calling the Czech Republic Czechoslovakia. It's been the Czech Republic for like... I mean, it's not even the Czech Republic anymore. It's Czechia. Or Czechia? Anyway, the point is, it's, you know, if you could just say Czech Republic, I could obviously forgive it. Because, I mean, you know, they were the Czech Republic from, like, 1992 until 2015 or something. But Czechoslovakia, that's outdated, man. It's like calling the Russian team the Soviet Union. It's almost exactly this. Just like make the slightest effort to, you know, these are 17-year-old kids that have come to our country to play a sport and get demolished by the galactic empire of Team Canada. You could at least get their country's name right. Anyway, I'm being overly dramatic, but it's because there's like 3 things in my life right now, and you know, it's the holidays. Is Isaac Daly's, is Slay the Spire, and my parents being here, and then it's the World Junior Hockey Championship until it's over. We're in the World Junior arc. The last arc before I go to class again. How's this daily going? I haven't paid attention at all, which is usually a great sign. We're, I wouldn't say we're ahead of schedule. So I think that if we want to do boss rush, we're going to have to get a move on. I think we have a chance to be slightly ahead of the curve. For a couple of reasons. One is consumable bonus. No doubt about it. One is... not everybody would have taken that deal with the devil that we took. You know, it took some cojones to do that. And it also took not taking damage on the first floor to be able to do that. You needed the HP in the first place. I also... was Pyro... no, Pyro was on the item room, right? It wasn't on the secret room. I don't want to re-roll our stats, honestly. I think we're in a totally acceptable position as is. Because of Curse of the Unknown, given the opportunity, I would probably re-roll... or I would probably take our... okay, I would buy as many Spirit Hearts as possible. So I would buy battery charges. I will buy the card as well, just to see if it's the hero font, because we're likely to get a deal with the devil. More likely than not, at least. High Priestess is still fine. We're gonna get a move on, though. We're gonna try to finish this floor ASAP. Hermit Emperor is tough. Also a great name for a Netflix original show about Constantine. Constantine! You know what? Normally, I would have pronounced that as Constantine. Constantine? I don't remember. Now the word doesn't make any sense because of the Keanu Reeves movie. But I've been listening to this audiobook about the history of the medieval world, and they say it in the other way. I can't remember if they say it Constantine or Constantine, but they say it the opposite of the way that the Keanu Reeves movie says it, and the opposite of the way that I've ever heard it taught in history classes, so now it broke my brain and turned me into LeBron James kid. Fine. Constantine. If I repeat it more times, it gets funnier every time. So we are going to be in tight for our, oh, thank God for Squeezy. We can definitely take a deal. We're going to be in tight on time. We don't want that, and that's good, actually. We're very happy to have not been, to have not had an item we have to take. Would have liked to have something a little bit more offensive for sure, but oh well. And it's not nothing, it is a speed upgrade, but that's very little in the whole scheme of things. So we're committing here to starting to go a little bit faster, and there's a good reason to do so. You know, boss rush is worth a lot. Definitely, as of right now, I don't think we have a, we're not going to have a wonderful time on boss rush, but that can change. And I'll tell you, I am extremely grateful that I picked up... Yeah, let's do it. No thank you. I'm extremely grateful I picked up Champion Belt. Might as well temporarily take Telepathy for Dummies. I'm also gonna, you know, use this as a rare moment of potential introspection. There's an avenue on which I probably am being beaten by the average player, or at least by enough to be worth remarking upon. I am not using bombs very frequently to do damage. And we should, because it would speed us up a great deal. Probably lead to us taking a little bit less damage. We would have less bombs, but I think it would come out in the wash. And you know, if we have the same amount of points, but an enemy is dead, then that's where we want to be, obviously. Yeah, it's going to be a little close. The Emperor card I'm going to save as like a last resort in order to get into boss rush if we have to. But it's a decision that's hard to make. You know, maybe this is a run where we don't want to do boss rush. 7 rate of fire, 6 damage. You know, we do have a spacebar item that gives us HP, but the bosses are going to be very annoying. Even, like, Pyro is not really a 10 out of 10 boss rush enabler. It's nice to have the bombs, but pair throw, okay. It's not a huge deal. Sorry, so blank card is extremely good here. Over prayer card, yes, I would say that's probably correct. And then we'll very quickly try to do some rerolls. Is that blank card chaos? It's blank card huge growth. Does that beat Emperor? I would say that it probably does. But we do have to be fast on the next floor, but huge growth should make that pretty doable with a +7 damage bonus. Now, the one thing I will say is I don't know if it stacks. Obviously, I don't expect it to stack at +7. That would be awesome. You know, I'm going to springboard off of my earlier discussion about the fight that we saw yesterday. It wasn't a good fight, you know? I watched the replay. I don't watch UFC. It's not like a... I don't have like a principled reason for not watching it. I just haven't gotten into it. But I saw the replay of that fight between Nunez and Cyborg. Which, by the way, great names. And Nunez, she's Thanos. That's the only plausible explanation. She punched the other fighter, who's apparently one of the best female UFC fighters of all time. She punched her in the head. She got knocked down to her knees, like Thanos hitting Captain America in the face. It was an incredible blow. But you know, that's like combat. You know, this was just alcohol plus fists. Dude, I'm freaking out. I'm like, we should have absolutely taken the Emperor card and gotten just a rune later to use, but please, you bombs. Bombs are your only way. And the earlier you decide to make it happen, yo, thank you so much. The earlier you decide to make it happen, the better off you're going to be. So just chart your course very sensibly. This is sensible. You might be like, you are a coward. You're absolutely correct. I always forget I can fly as well. We're taking so much damage trying to make this happen, but the potential point outcome is so strong. Monstro's Long, well worth it, by the way, I think. We'll blow you up for Deal with the Devil, plus also Tinted Rock status. No greeds, please. No greeds. Quick little reroll that we can't even take advantage of. Don't sweat it. Buy this. We're good to go. We don't have time to make good decisions, which is a very funny statement. But I don't get fighting. You know, I've never been a fighter. And I don't think I grew up in a town that's like heavy on fighting, but there's a weird mix. It's kind of like Vancouver during the World Junior Hockey Championship. There was a, you know, a contingent of people that lived in the city, and then a contingent of students who were snobby and usually from like the greater Toronto area. And there would be fights. There was like one place in the town. It's called The Hub. And there's a restaurant called Pizza Pizza. It's a chain pizza restaurant in Canada. I know you're like, yeah, it's Little Caesars. No, it's not. It's Pizza Pizza. They're two legally distinct entities. We're going to take Explosivo here. And I really do think that we have gotten one over on the average player at this point. We made our bed, now we're lying in it, but in like a good way, I think. Anyway, there would be fights like every weekend, and I guess I don't understand it. It's just that it's a different kind of like upbringing. To me, if I went out on Friday night and got hammered and then got in a fist fight with someone, it would probably be, for a couple of reasons, like one of the worst days of my life. At least of the year. I just have no interest in I don't know, what do you think your chances of getting brain damage are in a fight? Even if it's like 2%. Why expose myself to that kind of risk? Okay, so huge growth definitely does not scale. Moreover, it just seems like extremely... I mean, I don't need to tell you, I'm sure. But I know there's not many, based on, you know, the way the demographics work. Excuse me, that guy broke the laws of physics. But, like, you know, if you're one of those people who's a fighter, I just want to know why. What is it about... Like, do you ever consider just getting involved in, like, adult martial arts tournaments or something as an outlet for your anger instead of resorting to, you know, street fighting people outside of AJ's hangar? Where are the enemies? Anyway, you don't... I'm sure I'm barking up the wrong tree. I'm not admonishing you guys, because I don't think anybody here is probably, like, you know, much of the fighting type, you know? And I'll tell you, you know, I would love to... I occasionally do enjoy admonishing nerd culture for, you know, a lack of conflict unless it's related to comic books or The Last Jedi. But here, you guys are... We're all in the clear, and we're all in it together. There's just no reason for it. So I am looking for a better rune, and Awaz is not it, I think. Yera is definitely it. We might as well blank card Yera. Plenty of consumables coming our way. It's one of the aspects, and it's not really Canadian culture necessarily. I don't know. It's not emblematic of the whole country, at least, but it is one of the parts of, like, Canadian, you know, good old boy culture that I'm like, dude, how has this not died out yet? If you're watching this and you're like, I'm betraying the country by not, you know, respecting the right to get trashed at a hockey game and then get in a fight with somebody that you're gonna hug it out with later, that's more power to you, you know? I'm with the nerds on this one. For once, I choose not to be a self-hating nerd. So, by the way, how's this run going? Are we going to fight Hush, etc., etc.? We're taking way more damage than I'd like to be taking here. But we're probably going to leave with close to full HP. Wow, that was a great shot. Because we got a Spirit Heart on the ground and Yera. So we need like one more duplication to be at full HP. It's messy. We are definitely also going to fight Hush. I don't know if I want to double it. Okay, I'll do it one more time, but... I don't really care, by the way, what rune we leave with. Getting hit twice by Blast Assist kind of makes me want to die, but every single pixel on the screen is occupied by something right now. So we kind of, you know, we got a boogie. We got to get out of this room. I think we froze Monstro. I was going to say, we got to be done soon. So grab the Spirit Hearts. Honestly, you're best off probably just sticking with Yera. There it is. I was looking for one that was like a free agent. Huge growth is also totally acceptable. And we've lost Yera. You know what? We're gonna get it back. Don't even sweat it. Give me the Awaz rune. Where do we leave? Okay, we're good. Awaz. That's fine. Alright, so we are gonna fight Hush. That's my intention, at least. I would love to pick up a little bit more damage, but apart from that, we're good to go. But you know, I hate to say it, because I think I've been sounding a little bit more and more like a teetotaler lately. And that's definitely not a, you know, political or moral position of mine. But I gotta side with the homeless guy. There's just something about... Little Gish, please stop shooting. There's something about, you know, some people plus alcohol equals... You know, they lose, like, literally half of their critical reasoning. Probably everybody does, and the difference is the people who have the critical reasoning in the first place to make sure they don't drink enough to get to that point. But, you know, I'm not admonishing the industry necessarily. I'm just saying, you know, when you go see a movie, very, very rarely after the movie... Are there two people outside of the theater that are like, let's throw down, buddy. Hey, we just saw Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. It's got me in the mood to kick somebody's butt. It just doesn't happen. Now, is that because, you know, sports are, by their own nature, you know, inherently, I don't want to say violent necessarily, but a little bit for sure. But I mean, that doesn't make sense because movies are as well. I don't know. Movies are inspiring from that standpoint as well. I remember I saw Jackass 3 or Jackass 2.5. I don't even remember. In theaters. And then after it, I was like 20. I was probably 20 exactly. Maybe 21. After we saw it, my friend just jumped on my back out of nowhere. And I'm sure in his head he heard like, you know, the theme song is what I'm going at here. But, you know, for me, I was like, what the heck, man? You like, my back was screwed up for like 3 days afterwards. You know, I'm not... Yeah, sure, let's do it. I'll take it. I'm not at that physical level where I want to like... Or my spine is capable... You know, of just out of nowhere supporting the weight of like a 160-pound man. It's already supporting the weight of a 160-pound man. What can I say? It was a few years ago. Anyway. Hey, mister. I don't know what it... I really... I mean, here's the thing. We were also intoxicated. So it really... There is still a common element. I don't know. I'm not saying make alcohol illegal. All I'm saying is that in order to purchase 1 milliliter of beer, you should have to take a breathalyzer test at the arena. No, I'm being facetious, obviously. But you can figure out where people stand with this issue, you know? Because I think the most common issue is why should everybody, or the most common reasoning is probably why should everybody be punished for the actions of a few people? And I agree with that. But when it comes to some substances, I don't agree with it. So I'm just teasing out where I feel, I suppose. I guess I just wish, and I'm not saying I'm a genius, because that's obviously wrong. I handle myself with decorum in public out of a deep-seated anxiety, and, you know, my family taught me growing up, you know, the most important thing was to put other people above yourself. It makes me sound like a saint, which is also not true. It's more just like, you know, I don't do things in public, or I try not to do things in public that should, you know, irritate other people or make their experiences worse. And I wish that attitude was more common. Were more common? Oh, he says he wants to not annoy people, and then he says the word wrong. The truth has come out. By the way, I'm going to tell you straight away here. The more time goes on here, the more I'm thinking that we're actually going to be in, we're going to be in a great position as far as this daily goes. Because we had to fight to get to boss rush. Now we have to fight to make it to the hush fight. And that's before you even do any of those fights. You know, we're just bombing our way out. Hoping that this is the right way, and thank the freaking Lord it is. Part of the problem, admittedly, is that Explosivo is not very good at killing enemies quickly. It is extremely good at killing enemies. Not quickly, though. Worst case scenario, deal with the devil, Krampus fight. But I will still peep that deal with the devil, because I'd like to get a little bit more offensively inclined before we fight Hush. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't. Now that we're getting real down to the wire. We haven't fought Krampus already. Dude, we gotta peep it. Frig! It might have stayed open forever. It did work, by the way. But good lord, that was close. Sorry, I also punched my microphone in the process there. Oh, baby. You're making me crazy every time I look around. Every time I look around. Debate that we want any of those. Debate that we want any of those. Yes. Probably PhD as well, why not? We're now off the clock. Tears Up is extremely nice. I think this is the better reroll, because we get the opportunity to reroll 2 items instead of 1. That we can both take, or we can take both. And we should probably take Little Haunt. So here's my play. Yes, I will take Mom's Knife. No, I will not take Tiny Planet. This damage should be real good. Here, I don't know what we're going to do yet. Actually, pardon me, I got a little coffee burp there. I do. We're taking Little Haunt for Fear. And then we're going to use the actual Perthrow rune here. And I don't know if Parasitoid Tears does anything for us. We're probably better off with Little Brim, but neither of them are truly 10 out of 10 right now. We have lost the value of Explosivo, and I actually think Explosivo Monster's Lung on the Hush fight is particularly strong. However, I am very, very unconcerned about everything post-Hush. Hush itself, you know, it might be a little bit of a conundrum. We'll see. Following this, I think we've made the right decision long term. So maybe what we should have done is, yes, taken Mom's Knife, but taken it after the Hush fight. But that requires a level of self-control that even me, as the leader of the new Prohibition movement, apparently, has not discovered yet. Within myself. We don't have Polaroid either. But I like that. I like it because it forces us to go to the dark room. And were it not for dailies, I would go to the dark room only under extremely unusual circumstances. So I'm not mad about it, like Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. What? What do you mean, gulp? Did we just swallow our trinket? If so, why? If so, how? Is it marbles? It must be marbles. On taking damage, there's a chance you could swallow your trinket. I mean, that is a reference to, I guess, eating a marble, which I didn't do as a kid. Might explain why I'm not that much into fighting my compatriots to this day. Well. Oh, jeez. I was just standing there and I was like, easiest fight of all time. Well, perhaps not. It wasn't bad, though. We have 15 cents. I will buy a Spirit Heart and I will buy the card. And that's actually an okay card for sure. Now we should maximize our exploration bonus, of course. We'll head down to Shoal here. We're in a great spot. I think that today we have a totally plausible chance of getting top 100. I wouldn't be surprised to see us in the low triple digits or the high double digits because we have good pills. Oh, well, that's you and I have different definitions of those apparently. I still thought it was worth it. Now, we don't want the sun to skip any of the floor at this point, but we still want the sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me in order... What? That's my bad. In order to give us, like, some peace of mind, basically. It's strange. I'm gonna take... I actually think we should take Black Rune, and I'll explain why. I love saying I'll explain why, and I'll explain why. It's because it gives me a moment to figure out what the heck I'm actually gonna say. It seems like it's a cinematic quality, like you're like, you know, over the rest of this 5-paragraph essay, I'll explain why this is valuable. But it also gives me a moment to collect my thoughts and figure out what I'm gonna say more well-reasonedly, which is not a word. Regardless. Why Black Rune? Well, let's look at it in contrast to our other options. Yera definitely maximizes our consumable bonus and possibly gives us more items on the Dark Room. That's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. The Sun is definitely the worst of the remaining options. It doesn't work as full health for us. It just gives us mapping, which again is fine, but we could easily get an Onsus Rune or another Sun card on the next floor. But I like Black Rune because we can get a statistical benefit without taking items and artificially lowering our score. So maybe that's a cowardly approach to things, but it's the approach that I am willing to take. I think if you take Yera or Black Rune, you're totally fine. Either one of those is an acceptable choice in this situation for maximal daily score plus enjoyment. Like here. There we go. We get a luck upgrade right off the bat. What's more valuable? A luck upgrade or having 99 mega bombs? Oh, definitely one luck. Absolutely. It's not even close. And I'm not being facetious at all. At all. If there's an embarrassment on today's run, it's definitely our damage penalty. We're gonna get hit. Yep. We've been hit more than we should have been hit. But I really think we're gonna be in good company. Like a Topher Grace and Dennis Quaid film from 2005. Genuinely, I truly believe not a whole heck of a lot of people are gonna get Boss Rush and Hush. Anybody that does is going to be put in a position to take, you know, as much or roughly as much damage as we did. I feel like we got very little to complain about. I'm gonna punish myself here, by the way. I left that key back there, and I said to myself, Self, we don't need that. And then, like, my higher order executive functions are trying to keep me honest. Let's go back and pick it up. Yes, it costs us some time. And I don't actually think at that point it gave us any points, which is hilarious. Now we know. Okay, fair enough. But I thought it was still worth doing just to reinforce the good habit. You know, I don't want to... If I'm worried about ranking well, I don't want to throw points away by just doing nothing with consumables. Sneeze? No? Yes. Yes, indeed. Rune is a was. Just use it. And we'll do everything on the next floor as well, but this is, you know, without being rude to the daily, this is where the daily starts to get a little bit more kind of like, is a snooze. So you're just kind of going through the motions. We do have a Mega Satan fight coming up. We should be enjoying this as a sort of, like, pseudo-victory lap, but I don't know. Like, as good as the daily has been, and any daily where you got, you know, 12 knives shooting out of your face is probably, like, you know what? Good anticipation. Can't be mad. Any daily where you got a bunch of knives shooting out of your face is probably pretty positive. In stark contrast to real life. But still lacking a little bit in the damage department, to be honest. 6.88 damage with Mom's knife. We could use a little bit more juice. We could. Ugh. It's bad mojo to do your post-Isaac stretch before the run's over. Yaw, you son of a gun. So we're gonna Black Rune. And we got another luck upgrade. 9 lives is bad in this situation, and I'll stand by that till the end of days. No, we still do get 40 points per key set. Help. Ay. So we'll still pick up every key. But you can't hug every cat. Remember that. 6 hearts. It's starting to get me slightly concerned about our Mega Satan fight. Now, apprehensive, much better word. I'm not concerned. Right now, I know that, you know, we got a pretty easy win set up. I'm apprehensive, knowing if we get hit a couple more times, we might start to value just finishing the run and getting it in the book safely over, you know, maximizing our exploration bonus specifically, and consumable bonus for that matter. I'll also tell you, I mean, I'm definitely way more aware of the things that benefit us than the things that inhibit us, but I definitely feel like taking Flat Penny was a huge benefit for us as well. Especially considering we got Humbling Bundle later. We were able to really, I mean, we've probably picked up 80 keys. 82 keys over the course of our run. Hate this. Yep. No, thank you. Damage plus luck. Could have re-rolled it with per throw. I mean, we're coming to the point where we might actually want to be able to do that, but blank card alges. Wow. My brain got absolutely scrambled. Blank card alges means if we just go into the boss fight with a charge, we're fine. So we can probably feel pretty safe to explore here. And of course, Satanic Bible is helpful as well. I don't remember our last pill. Well.
Tears up.
I think I'm gonna fight Mega Satan. We'll get to whatever this dead end is. This daily is gone on long enough, I think is a fair way to describe it. We're just getting slightly... I'm at the point where I feel like we're getting less value out of our exploration bonus than the punishment we're getting out of the damage we're taking. Like, I mean, that's a pretty friggin' great example right there. We probably shouldn't even do one more room, but I'm embarrassed, so let's do it. Thanks for the spirit heart. All right, let's put this one in the books. It's been a fine daily. It's, you know, if we explored everything, we would probably still win. But let's put a cork in this one. Algiz is extremely helpful. Satanic Bible we should have used once, so let's do that. And it's highly simple. You know, if you want to be technical, we should probably black rune the guillotine. It was actually a speed upgrade. Is fairly nice here, and put this one in the books. Finish her off. When to use Algiz? Well, I would say the Horseman wave. You know, when you get War, Wrath, etc., etc. Probably not the right time. Or sorry, the Sin wave. The Horseman wave is the wrong time. This one right here is easy. We want to use it when we get, you know, 12 mini-bosses on the screen. Now, I look like a fool for not using it here, but... Crush him, Dad. So, not yet. This guy is like our most annoying enemy right now. Probably starting right about now. And then we definitely want to get you, and you. Angel statues. If we could get them all with this same Algiz. I mean, Algiz is like... Situationally, it might be the best rune in the game. Obviously, it's not the rune that you would be relying on the most in your average situation. But, you know, when the mood is right, I gotta run all night. I got a Algiz rune. So I would say we probably lost a little bit of our effectiveness on this floor. I would expect to maybe be between 100 and 200 on the leaderboards. Let's see where we sit here. Or we could be 18th is like the alternative. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!